recovery inner circle, and she's 16. And there was a couple people at this event thing I went to, and they're like, she's 16. What is she even doing here? I'm like,
she's probably the smartest person in the room.
Yeah. She's like literally the smartest person in this group right now. She's like, yo, I'm this is like getting bad. Let me do something about it.
Right.
And God, somebody somewhere or something in her life showed her NA.
Yeah. So this part, you know, this is already really good. So I'm not going to even edit this. We're just going to go ahead and start. So, hey, everybody, you saw a little bit of Ashley and Lalita, obviously, before I even introed anything, but you know, it's getting really good to begin with. So welcome to episode 8 of the Recovery Scene. I'm your host, and I want to remind you guys, recovery is beautiful, but addiction ain't pretty. So if you have little ones that are listening or watching, and also for your adults, there might be something triggering, there might be something upsetting, there might be something, you know, there could be cuss words. So you might not want them in the living room. I'm just saying. I want to bring something up real quick though before we start. I duetted a TikTok video that the two of you made, and I promise I'm going somewhere with this. We went to see The Croods 2. I don't care if you're 5 or 50, this movie is hilarious. Okay, well, there's this one part, and I promise this is going somewhere, where the women all have to go rescue the men. The men have gotten themselves in trouble, right? And they start calling themselves Thunder Sisters, and they start going, Thunder Sisters, and they like put the paint on, they're like, Thunder Sisters, right? Well, you made this video, and I duetted it, and it was basically, it was the one where somebody's like, imagine being sober as your best personality trait.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm making crap up because I can't remember what you said. But at one point, you were basically like, would you really go on somebody's TikTok who like lost a bunch of weight or overcame mental illness or whatever and be like, who the hell cares? Like, really? And that's the feeling I got when I was duetting it. Like, yeah, Thunder Sisters.
I saw the first
no idea.
So now, the second one.
Every time I make a video or I duet, you know, a female in addiction, I'm totally hashtagging Thunder Sister.
I love it.
Yeah.
You've got to see it. It's great. It's great. So anyway, nobody wants to hear me talk. This is Ashley. Wait, they're over here. I always do that wrong.
I was just saying that people do love hearing the podcast host talk.
We were talking about that.
Really?
I was like, I think it's important. Like, people like the people you bring on, but they love you, so they do want to hear you. Yeah, for me, because I listen to a lot of podcasts.
I can talk. So we've got Ashley and Lalita. Okay, now tell them who's Ashley and who's Lalita, so they know.
I'm Ashley.
I'm Lalita.
Okay, and these ladies have awesome stories of addiction to recovery and then on to entrepreneurship, et cetera, et cetera. So I am going to let them take it away. You guys can decide how you want to do this, but we want to hear your story. No holds barred. Nothing is off the table or, unacceptable.
So we'll just like short story.
Yeah, we're going to have to short story it.
Yeah.
And we can always do another interview if you guys want to do, the long version at some point.
Yeah. So for now, we'll just short story. So she'll share hers, I'll share mine, and then we'll kind of just talk about how we've blended that together and started the brand.
Exactly.
Yeah. So like usually I would go like way back, but I'm just gonna like kind of like paraphrase like an entire lifetime here, and yeah. So for me, I'm an alcoholic, right? Like chronic alcoholism. And like you were already mentioning before, that's not to down anybody's alcoholism, because there are people out there who, just drink way too much on the weekends or drink way too much when they drink. And that's also a problem. Yeah. So I'm not in any way advocating that if you are not chronic, that it is not a problem.
Right.
But for me, yeah, so it's progressive. So, I started out where it was just partying and it was just fun. And, for me, it has to do with deeper level issues in which I think that's with everybody who continues that through their life and lets it bring you to such low places. Like that's got to be something deeper. And for me, like a lot of people, it was just like I didn't want to feel anything. And even though I say that in the same sentence, it made me feel exactly the way I wanted to feel, I thought, for the rest of my life.
Okay, to addicts everywhere, that made complete sense.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It was like already you know, at like 13 years old, even though beyonce to me, I didn't think it really bothered me, but my parents divorced, my mom and my sister left. And, you know, there was like, and I understand people are bullied in different ways, but I was, I guess, you know, like pretty, and I was popular, and I had like a lot of success in like sports and cheerleading. And like, I was like bullied for that. You know, it was like people didn't want to like me. Maybe they didn't like themselves, and they just thought I had it so easy, in which I actually had a lot of issues. And so, you know, when I started drinking, I thought, oh, wow, like life can be easier than this. Life can be can feel so much better. You know, I don't have to care about what they say. I don't have to care about not having my mom, my sister. I don't have to care that my dad is like pretty much, I feel like, absent in my life, and I don't have to care about anything. And I fucking love that. And so even when we got older, and we've known each other since we were 12 years old, and we have a little group of girls that we really clung to each other for many years and partied together and just were always together. And then when that kind of ended, because you're supposed to kind of transfer into your adult life, where you kind of start building what the rest of you want your life to look at, you know, we didn't stop, because that feeling, that means that like all of a sudden you have to deal with everything that you've been like hiding from. And I think that's easier for non-addicts. They kind of say, oh, okay, that's over.
It's just like,
let's get real.
Yeah.
Right.
And I
They
like,
kind of outgrow it, whereas we never do.
we
No.
don't.
You know, we
And
just kind of get stagnant and stuck.
that's weird, because I just had such a weird epiphany moment of like, whoa, I think that was it. I was like, there is at no point in which that I'm ready to really concentrate and like deal with life. And as I
you like not understand, like I couldn't understand. How can they just not want to do this?
Yeah.
Like,
we talked about that. We're like, what do these other girls do? Like they just like hang out and like conversate, and they like just go to work, and they just like
how do you feel your time?
We're like, what is, like, I don't understand. How are they like not high? Like like buildings burning, wars happening. Like, how are you just like, it's all good without like fucking getting fucked up?
Because my like chai tea and just move on.
Yeah.
Chai tea have vodka in it? 'Cause
yes. I used to look around at everybody's cup and be like, there's gotta be something in there, right?
like that's just not normal.
Yeah. My alcoholism got so bad, it was at a point where I just really didn't think anyone noticed. Like I can tell the difference in what vodka looks like in a water bottle, but I just assumed nobody else could. So I'd literally be in like training sessions at work with like a water bottle of vodka, like not even hidden. It would just be like on my desk, because I'm like, well, if it's out in the open, and nobody's gonna fucking think this is vodka. It's sitting at my desk with like my Nutri-Grain bar. There's absolutely no way. So, which I never
really healthy.
Bar, we don't eat. So, anyways, so that was really more of like what happened is that I went into adulthood, and I managed to like have an apartment. I was always in a relationship that made things easier because there's somebody else bringing in, you know, money and stuff. And so like I might manage to like pay my bills and do stuff like that, but I never really entered into what true adulthood is. And I know that now because I have a little over a year sober, and I am like, oh crap, like this is hard. Like, you know, life is hard in general. Life is good. Life is bad. But I'm like, wow, like I never really realized. I'm like, I want kids. And I'm like, I'm like, just like trying to figure out how y'all been doing it all these years. Like life is like a lot. Adulting is intense, and you have a lot of responsibility and people who rely on you. Yeah. Things you have to show up for, showing up for yourself. And so I'm like, wow. But there's a lot of reward in it. And so the fact that I ran from that for 15 years of my life is pretty intense to me sometimes. And so it's why, you know, the opportunity that, you know, and then a little get into that too, presented itself, you know, during the quarantine. We started kind of, you know, I was detoxing at Lalita's house this last time I went to get clean. And that's a very long story. I wish I could get more into it, but I went and lived with her for like 4 months, and then the quarantine happened. And Lalita's always had a lot of dreams, and she's always been very creative. And she could also, I think, see that like I was struggling. I was really struggling with trying to find my place in the world. And as she knows, any addict, and as I know very, very well now, is if you just go back to like your life, like that you were living before, it's exciting for a minute. You're clean, you make new friends, and it's cool. You're like, oh man, the big book, the NA book, all this is so great. And then it's kind of like that adrenaline kind of like levels out, and you fall off your pink cloud, and you're kind of like, all right, well, like, why am I even sober? Like, this is the same exact life. It's mundane. Like, what am I even doing? I'm like, I might as well be drunk. I mean, at least for me. And I think she saw that.
That I was like, getting drunk to avoid.
yeah, this is
Why
like
would I
why
wanna do
I'm
this?
fucking
Mhm.
drunk. This is lame. And like, I'm just going to go back to like, she's like, you're going to go work at an office? She's like, okay. And like, and then what? And I'm like, I mean, I don't know. It's like, that's what you do, right? You go and you get like go back to what you're doing. You get a normal job. You do what you know how to do. And then hopefully you meet somebody. And she's like, yeah, okay. And so she's like, you know, let's do these videos and let's try to like uplift other people. Let's talk about recovery, because I was always like, hey, I have so much more like talk about. And like, I didn't like how you just share, which is great, but you share in the meeting and then you don't talk about it. You get all your feelings out and then that's it. And then the next person shares and then that's it. No one like gives you advice after or comments back onto it. It's
No
just like,
cross-talking.
yeah, no cross-talking, and I couldn't
Like,
stand
you
that.
want to so bad sometimes. They're like, oh my God.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my God, I want to tell that guy that like that happened to me too, and that this is what I did to get out of it. So we're like, let's make these videos, and those were doing really good. And so then, you know, she had her whole vision. I want her to talk about that of, you know, making Recovery Life Apparel, and you know, now I start to see like with the year clean, like my value. But at the time, you know, I'm like, I'm just a drunk. Like, I don't have anything to give you. I don't have anything to like put into this. And she's like, you are literally like fucking amazing. You're gorgeous. You're funny. You have like a million opinions. Like you're like really worthy. And she's like, but if you don't see that, you know what I mean? Like, then like, what are you ever going to do? You have to see it. So she was almost like, fake it till you make it then, because like you have it inside of you. Everyone has it inside of them to do more, to be more. But when you stifle yourself with drugs and alcohol, like you're never, you can't see it, you know? And I was just telling her this morning, like, I want to be a huge advocate for the younger generation. And I know it sounds crazy and unrealistic, but to never even pick up that first drink, to never pick up that first drug, because the only way to find out if you're an addict is to put it in your system.
Yes,
and if we can convince you to never do it.
It's Russian roulette. The only way to find out there's a bullet in the gun is to pull the trigger.
Or at least put that
right.
information
And I don't
out
think
there. Like,
yeah.
You know, I think literally put that information out there, and hopefully people, because you have the DARE program, but this is like, or in the great programs in like elementary school and middle school, but like this is different. Hold on, we had a call. Oh shit, are we there?
Everything okay?
I talked about that too. I have a video. It's my very first viral video. It went insane, and I thought, I'll make this video. I'll get 3 likes and like 1 troll. You know, whatever. And it's called Drugs Are Fun, parentheses, until they're not. And it's just the truth about like,
It's just the
DARE
truth.
officer comes in and tells you your head's going to explode, you're going to die, your parents are like, your eyeballs are going to melt, you know, all your friends are going to die. And then what happens is they do drugs, nothing happens, and they have fun, you know, or drink or whatever. And you're like, okay, so then you try it, and odds are you don't die, and you have fun, and you're like, all those people are full of crap. So we need, especially young women, saying, look, this is what happened, and it didn't get bad right away.
No.
I had a great time until I didn't.
And that's why I always say that it's not a choice. It's not a choice. And the perfect example is what you just said, is that somebody else goes and do it, they have fun, nothing happens. And like I put it in my body, and I can't get it back out for another 15 years, to where I drink myself into like literal like hospitalizations and almost death and seizures. So like, no, I don't think that's a choice. I don't think it's a choice. I just think it's Russian roulette. Exactly.
It's what I say about alcoholic. An alcoholic did the same thing millions upon millions of people do all the time, and just wanted to go out and have a drink with their friends.
Exactly.
Exactly.
There was nothing weird about it or crazy.
Yeah, so really that was my journey, basically, is it just got so bad. 3 DUIs, you know, I've hit a mother and her daughter before in their car. Thank God. For some reason, I'm blessed that they were okay. And I kept drinking after that. In fact, that's when my alcoholism got even worse, is like I drank more after that. And so, yeah, so things were just really, really bad. And then, you know, fast forward to us starting this company. Yeah, like I'm an advocate for just basically continuing to add so much value to your life that you are unwilling to sacrifice those things, because I would be lying if I said I did not think about drinking at least a couple times a week. But then I think about what I'd have to lose, and I didn't have that much to lose before, at least to me, because my family and my friends and like that all wasn't enough. You know, I had to build enough like in myself and like things surrounding directly to me, because you know we don't have a lot of self-love when you're using. So I had to just make so many things, including my family, my friends, and everything, healthy relationships, businesses, like so much because I'm a very, very bad alcoholic. I need I would add a million more things to put a wall in between me and drinking. And for me, that's what I need. I think you're kidding yourself if you think that anything you had before you got clean is going to be enough, that you have to add way more to protect yourself, to make it not worth it.
Right.
But that's my message. So off to Lalita.
Yeah. So, and then there's more to that, right? Which I guess we'll kind of blend back into that. So, yeah, man, my story's a little different, even though we've known each other for almost 20 years now. And, bitch, we're getting old.
Getting old.
We're getting out there.
Don't even talk to me about old. I turned 44 like last week.
Oh, but I feel like, okay, so that's 10 years away from me, right? I'm 33, and I feel like I'm just getting started in life and just
I didn't
really
feel grown up till I hit my 40s. I did not
You
feel
know,
grown
really?
up. And then I was like, I don't got to explain myself to none of y'all.
you know, but I feel like, because everyone says, oh, your prime is in your 20s, and I'm like, bitch, when and where? Is that a prime?
Not for us.
No.
Mm-mm.
I don't think for anybody, whether you're an addict or not, you know, especially addicts, but like, no, like there's this, you turn into a woman, you know, you're not a woman at 25, like, bitch, you're not.
Yeah.
So if you think you are, trust me, you're not. But yeah, man, so I come from a family of addiction. So my mom's an active addict. My dad's an active alcoholic, you know, my mom's baby sister, she's the one who introduced me to getting clean, and she was a member of Narcotics Now. She's still, well, actually, she's 13 years clean now, but she's doing like the Cali clean now, and it's working for her. But for me, I'm completely abstinent still. And yeah, so my clean date's 8/27/2016. So I just came up on 4 years, and yeah, and it's just been a beautiful journey, you know, and I'm to a place now where I'm super grateful for my addiction and all the trauma, you know. So my addiction started really with depression and self-harm, probably about 13 or 14 years old. And then I was using then too, you know, but my addiction didn't really spiral until I was in my teens. And then in my 20s, I started using IV drugs, which is like when it like went really bad, you know. But I'm a 9th grade dropout and stuff, and I have 4 children, and I used with 3 of my pregnancies, and luckily, you know, so I had a lot of miracles in my life. God show up in different ways. So I was an IV drug user with 3 of my pregnancies, and all 3 of those pregnancies, my children were completely negative for drugs. There was no detox, no withdrawal, no, like, seriously.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a miracle.
Yeah.
Okay. And I have miracles like that in my life all over the place. You know what I'm saying? Like, I should be in prison and I'm not. Like, that's a complete miracle. That is a straight up miracle too. You know, but I got clean. So this is the first time I've been clean. So I had 2.5 years in my early 20s. And I was heavily involved in the program. I was doing H&I. I was doing a lot of service. I was sponsoring women. I was making meetings regularly. And I relapsed because I thought I could drink. I thought, you know what?
I can control it. I got it now.
Yeah, I got it. You know, because when I made the decision to get clean and sober for the first time, I did life really easily. I did it really well. I had a really good job. We made a lot of money. Everything. I did life in very easy. And I said, oh, well, maybe I really wasn't an addict. Maybe I just needed a reason to get clean. And like I had absolutely no intention of going back to narcotics or hard drugs. I didn't want to. I knew it was a problem. It was no longer even attractive to me. So like when I got clean the first time, the obsession to use was lifted. It was immediately lifted, and I didn't even think about using, but I wanted that normalcy. I wanted to drink. And, you know, so this was, you know, almost 10 years ago when I got clean for the first time, because I stayed out and now I have 4 years clean, right? So I was like 23 or 24 when I got clean the first time. And yeah, people didn't talk about addiction like we're talking about it now. Like nobody talked about it outside of a meeting,
Right.
you know? And so there was that separation. As much as we integrate ourselves back into society, but like, yeah, we're integrated, but like there's still this big secret
Yeah, just don't talk about it. Just
don't
act
talk
normal.
about it. Yeah, and so I wanted to be a part of, I wanted to feel normal. And so I said, I'm going to try drinking. And it was a fucking horrendous idea. And it was literally off to the races almost instantly. I mean, I drank normally, but I had built such an accountability system around my life that like before things even got out of control with my kids or with my job or anything like that, like my accountability system was on my ass. My kids were taken instantly, you know what I'm saying? And it really just evolved. And so that relapse lasted for 2 years, almost to the day. Isn't that crazy?
Wow. Yeah.
2 years almost to the day. Because I relapsed on the 17th, 2014.
Is that you when you went to Vegas?
Yeah.
The second one?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I never thought I'd see her again.
Yeah. So I relapsed in 2014.
Relapsing in Vegas? You're kidding.
No, I didn't relapse in Vegas. I relapsed. I didn't relapse in Vegas. I ended up going to Vegas.
That's when I realized.
Okay. I'm with you now.
No, I did end up in Vegas though, but Vegas will eat you up and spit you out, eat you alive.
Yeah, I'm like, girl. Okay.
Las Vegas, if you're using and you're an addict, you will literally fucking get eaten alive. And that's what happened. And I'm grateful for that, And then so I got clean on the 27th. I relapsed on the 17th of August. So, but my oldest son's father passed away. He died of an OD. And that was like the catalyst thing for me because that, the week that I got clean, I was pregnant. I didn't know how far along I was. I just cut my house arrest bracelet off. So I had warrants, felony warrants in Vegas, felony warrants in Florida. I hadn't talked to my 2 living children at that time for the whole time I'd been out using. I had completely went AWOL on my DCF case. They ended up closing it out with permanent guardianship. So when I got clean, I had a lot of face the music shit going on. You know what I'm saying? I had a lot of wreckage that I had to clean up, and I did it because I said, when you get so low, I was homeless, you know what I'm saying? It was a fucking hot mess. So when I didn't even have a phone. I didn't have shit. I had nothing. And I came back to Florida on the Greyhound bus because that's how you got to travel when you got warrants,
Mm-hmm.
And I ended up getting arrested when I came back to Florida. And like a month or 2 after I came back, I got arrested, and I ended up having my daughter in jail. And I was released. I was released on probation and stuff like that. And so now I'm sitting out before I relapsed, I wasn't a convicted felon, and I had never had any DCF involvement, right? And then so the disease is completely progressive. So for anybody listening that thinks that just because you got sober and think that like you're not gonna pick up where you left off, you're gonna pick up like if you never stopped.
Yeah.
And like that's just the facts.
Yep.
And it tells us that in our literature, and our predecessors tell us that. And I experienced it firsthand, and it's just the truth. So I said I already knew what to do, right? And that's the cool thing about recovery is if you do happen to relapse, because relapse isn't a part of everyone's story, but I think it's a lot of our stories.
Yeah.
Because we're so hard-headed, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're like, nah, but you have to completely.
And we want to be normal so bad.
So bad. But I think and that's like our mission.
Place.
Right. And that's our mission with this is we think that if we can help aid in normalizing recovery and addiction, because you know what? Like there is such a variety of the population that struggles, and it's not just drugs, because addiction is addiction.
No.
Eating disorders, self-harm, all of it. Addiction is addiction. Addiction is addiction.
Abusive relationships. How many people do we know that get into abusive relationship after
That's
another?
addiction.
They're not dealing with their inner issues, so they're gravitated to these like these things that are bad for you. You gravitate toward them. My aunt the other day, she was like, "Listen, I'm pretty sure I have an eating addiction. When I'm mad, when I'm sad, like
it's the feeling."
She's like, I hope this doesn't offend you, but I feel like I can understand addiction in a sense of where I cannot stop doing something as a result of other things affecting me. I said,
that's addiction.
Yes.
Sweetie.
Sarah, yes.
Girl.
Yep.
How about
the one that nobody wants to talk about is porn.
But I mean,
I have a friend who just told me that they are, and I said
that's one that's still big stigma. Big stigma.
You'll know what I said.
Talk about that one.
I said, boy, if you can quit meth, you can quit porn.
Okay, I know who it is.
Hey,
I know who it is. So I had the recovery aspect still. So I already knew what to do, and I just did it. You know, obviously you have to let go of all the people, the situationships, the whole shit. You have to completely change. I shut down your Facebook, honey, to make a new IG, do your whole thing. So I did, you know, and I reopened the case for unification with my kids. I got one back. I didn't get the other one back. That's a whole hot mess of a thing. Actually, I think that's how you found me.
Yes.
With that video.
Yep.
You know?
I did.
So
I
for
did.
anybody,
I was like, you want to be on the recovery team?
yeah, so for anybody that's seen that video, that's watching, because I mean, that was Stitch, it went viral, the stitches went viral, and it was really a negative thing. But what you have to remember is, like, everybody's story is different. You know what I'm saying? And it's the perception of, do we think that we're gonna win? We don't know. We don't have an expectation on that, but I need to be able to have that for Oliver when he becomes an adult. If we don't get reunification, we see him, he knows who we are now. But, you know, the question would arise potentially. I mean, it may not. But, like, he's not the only kid. You know what I'm saying? And he has 3 other siblings. And, like, so that's going to look a little weird when you're an adult and be like, okay, wait, my parents have been clean and sober since I was 4, and they have, like, all this whole other family, but, like, they just were like, bye, Felicia. You know what I'm saying?
Right. No, you need to be able to tell them I did every single thing I could, and I never quit. Yeah.
Exactly.
And that comes through on your videos too.
So that's the motivation behind that. You know what I mean? And I think it's really important, you know, and that's just what we've been called, because I live with his biological father still. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's his family. It's his real mom, his real dad. He's got a whole sibling, and that, because 2 of his siblings are half siblings, but he has a whole sibling, his brother. You know, and that would just look fucking weird. I mean, I would feel weird, you know, but I'm a child of addict parents, you know, and never in any, my mom's a convicted felon for child neglect. And never in the time of my mom's addiction did I not ever want to be with my mother. You know what I'm saying? There's like a bond there.
Yeah.
Just in case anybody is thinking about commenting, he's in a safe and loving environment, leave him alone. Why would you put him back? Okay. 1, you never had kids. 2, you've never lost kids.
Right.
No,
like, what does
I
he
would
want?
go through hell and back to get one of my children back. That's called being a mother.
You cannot, as a parent, just say, okay, I don't have that child anymore. Like, I don't care about that. It doesn't work like that.
I guess it didn't work out. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it didn't work out. So, like, see you later. Like,
it's an instinct. And if you don't have that instinct,
yeah,
there is something wrong with you as a mother.
Yeah. So that's where we are with that. And it's really important to note that we've made tremendous progress with his grandparents, which are my fiance's parents, you know, so we're good.
Now, can I ask, is it family that has him?
Yeah, it's his grandparents.
Okay. Well, that's what I wanted people to know. So tremendous progress with his grandparents. That's a really, really good thing.
Yeah, so we're good, man. There's no bad blood, you know, but also in their defense, they've been through the ringer with Dawn and I. You know what I'm saying? So addiction. So where they were coming from and not wanting Oliver to be reunified, you know, they're just operating from a place of trauma, you know, that trauma that we've created, Dawn and I. Right. You know, so we understand that. We understand that aspect. And so it's been a long process, and but like I said, we're all in a really good place. So I think that should be credited, you know, to them too. So yeah. So I'm an entrepreneur. I opened a tree service with my fiance, and so that has, you know, given us the ability to start Recovery Life Apparel.
Yes. And now let's talk about Recovery Life Apparel, and we will make sure
that
you guys that everybody can go to.
Yeah, so we just launched Recovery Life Apparel in July of 2020. So we are a brand new brand, and we have grown. You know, our following has grown like, I mean, we're at 95,000 followers. Yeah, you know what I'm saying, in 4 months. And so our mission with this brand is to really kind of help normalize, blend addicts into society, because do addicts blend into society? Yeah, but a lot of addicts don't say, I'm an addict.
Yeah, as long as we're quiet, right.
As long as we're quiet, we can do great. But it's like, what's the difference of a person with depression or an eating disorder? Or, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. What is the difference? Why are we different? Bitch, we're not different. We're not any different than that. And I think that it would be easier for a lot of people to come forward and talk about their addiction and ultimately heal if it was normalized, not the addiction aspect, but the aspect that we can recover and be normal. We don't have like a moral deficiency. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us aren't criminals at heart. A lot of us aren't morally fucking defective. You know, we just have a drug problem, you know, which can be put into remission, and people literally get clean and never use again. They die clean. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know, so we said, you know, a clothing line would be a really cool way to do that. And so far it's like, it's working, and it's just like incredible. It's really incredible. And the amount of people that message us, I mean, we've got thousands of messages probably by this point. Thousands. We get hundreds of messages a month.
That's awesome.
Of people that are like, either you've inspired me to get clean, or I have known people with addiction and you're helping me view them in a different light. And just all around the board, it's just ending the stigma.
People think that like okay, like I put the drugs or I put the drink down, and then like, sorry, my dog. She's a puppy, so I can't control her. They think like, I'll just put the drink down, I'll just put the drugs down, and then that's it. And I literally actually listen to some podcasts where people who aren't addicts talk about addicts, and man, they do not get it. They're like, man, like the book literally says it like your addiction will never go away, it'll never get better. So like, why do it? And I'm like, oh my God, people are out here dying. That's why I podcast, because I'm not going to name specific celebrities.
Their mentality is what people used to call like just a dry drunk.
They'll be like, what about like, why can't they just drink? Why can't they just put that down? And then just like tell themselves like, listen, I'm only going to like, you know, drink on the holidays. You know, I'm only going to drink at the, you know what I mean?
Don't you think we've tried that?
Right.
Don't you think that's what we wanted to
like
do?
they're clean, but they're still thinking dirty.
Yeah. Right. And so to say that, they just don't, I think that they just don't think that there's a way to have fun. I think that they think it's embarrassing.
Yeah.
What's embarrassing is that when I go to the grocery store, I see at least 10 people wearing a Jameson shirt or a Bud Light shirt. Okay. And I don't see one person out there advocating for like not doing drugs or like not like drinking. Like your whole t-shirt is a bottle of Jameson.
Every movie, every TV show, I mean, unless you're watching Nickelodeon, somebody is, it's like we're taught from, we're not given examples of healthy drinking, and then we're taught that, hey, this is just what everybody does.
Yeah, every single
this is what you're supposed to do. You're weird.
Every TV show that has like these teenagers on it, I watch them, Riverdale, all that. Okay, I'm in it. But all these TV shows, like they never, every single party that looks fun, or every single party that all the cool kids go to, involve like drinking illegally, or if they're old enough in the show to drink. There's never any like advocation for like, you know, but they don't tell you the offside part. Half of those people at the party will probably never put the drink down again. Mm-hmm. Half of the kids at the party doing the cocaine in the bathroom might overdose and die from the fentanyl that's put in it.
But then they'll do an entire episode on how, you know, Bobby started smoking pot. And everybody flips out. And it's like, dude, he's probably safer than the people that just drank, you know, 3 bottles of vodka and
they don't have it right.
His girlfriend home. Like,
they don't have it right. You know what I'm saying? The kids are going to grow up and want to be what they see on the TV. They're not going to think it's cool to like have their girlfriends over and like do their nails and listen to music. They're going to think it's like going to be cool to like have the kids over and like everybody huddles what are they huddling in the bathroom for? But those are the coolest kids in the show. So like, you know what I mean? Like that's what we're being brainwashed into being dumbened. You know what I mean? We're being stifled and let's not get into conspiracy theories. We won't. But it's a depressant. The drugs are a depressant.
Yeah.
It's stifling your creativity. It's stifling your energy.
Who you are, your purpose.
It's depressing your true self, and you're not going to get anywhere without.
So what's embarrassing is waking up in a puddle of your own vomit. That's embarrassing.
Yeah.
That's embarrassing.
For me, I knew I was laying in it, but I mean, I couldn't get up. So.
Right. Yeah. Like, I'm just going to be, you know, I tell people all the time, I'm like, hey, it's your favorite Karen.
Yes.
You know, but we wanted, you know, our clothing line is young, it's current, you know, I design everything. I have a passion for it, which has been a long lost dream of mine to own a clothing line. I never thought I would do it. I never knew how to do it. And then I just took action, you know, so that's a really important thing to touch on is, if you just have to take action. And if you feel something in your spirit or in your heart and you're pulled to do something, it's meant for you. And it's there for a reason, you know, and if you just take action and act on that, the universe and God will really open all of the opportunities and open doors for you. And that's just been my experience. You know, a lot of stuff I can't explain. It's miracle shit, you know, and I'd like to say, oh, I have a cut and dry way of how I got from point A to point B. But the real truth of the matter is I've just allowed my intuition to guide me, and I took action on what I've been called to do. And, you know, so far in the 4 years that I've been sober, you know, my life has just unfolded in a miraculous way, better than I could have ever imagined. And I have to attribute it to me being an addict and relapsing and becoming a felon, you know?
Yeah.
And it's true. And I say, oh, well, because if I never became a felon, because I worked corporate sales, you know what I'm saying? That's my background. And then when I relapsed, like, nobody would take me because my felonies are not even drug charges. They're fucking fraud charges.
Oh,
you know,
Nobody wants fraud up in their business.
Nobody wants that up in their business. So I said, for me, you know, I'm sure as hell not going to get clean and sober and be broke, bitch. That's a fact. You know, so what am I going to do? So, you know, but I have an entrepreneurial spirit. I always have. And it's a rocky road, you know, it's a rocky road. And if that's the chaos, that's the addict in me, because I promise you nothing about owning a business. It's rewarding, but honey, it is up and down, and my bank account be going up and down. And I go, oh my God, I'm going to have a heart attack, you know, but it's worth it, you know, and it's really strengthened me as a person and a woman, and teaching me a lot that I have these tools and the experience to pass down to my children, you know. And it's just been really incredible, you know. And I have "fuck fear" tattooed on my arm. And
I wanted to say something. I think the difference in between like Lalita and some, including myself, so the difference in like Lalita's attitude getting clean, in which I don't think I had the first 2 times around, and I don't think a lot of addicts, when they're getting clean, they said, this is so hard, like I don't have any fun, like I don't even know what to do, is that it's crazy, because she truly, truly believes that anything is possible. It sounds so cliche, and it sounds so la-di-da, but it's like she truly 100% believes that anything is possible, and that if it scares you and it's hard, then like, it's working, you know, because everything that I joined her in doing, I'm like, oh my God, I don't know, like, is this going to work? And my analytic behavior and my desire to question everything, like, does come in handy in business. It does. But you have to find like your medium, because I did not believe anything was possible. I believed I just didn't want to die. And so that I had to put the alcohol down, because I'm like, oh, I don't want to die. So like, that's really it. But like, my life's going to be boring. And maybe I'll just wait till that day where I'm so old that everyone I know dies and I can drink again. I'm like, right. And that's like where I was at, until I found something to be passionate about. I found something to like teach me new things. You have to put yourself out there. It is especially important for recovering addicts to switch up the game, to put yourself like on the front lines. Nothing's gonna
happen. You have to take a risk in life, because if you don't walk through challenges, if you don't walk through fear, if you don't take risks, bitch, you're gonna have.
We love the chaos.
You're gonna have a boring, mundane life. You know, we are created so perfectly and beautifully, and we are so capable of so many things. And if we survived addiction, or survived an abusive relationship, or survived childhood trauma, survived sexual trauma, the list goes on and on and on, and we survived that. Like because there are so many people that don't survive it. And there are so many people that do. And if you come out of that, you're born again, and you have like, there is a limitless, like we are limitless in what we can achieve. And that's why I got that tattooed on my arm, because, you know, we have big dreams and visions for this brand. You know what I'm saying? Like, we want our brand in a major retailer. We want to be normal. We want this to be
Target and Walmart need to sell this brand.
Like you know, and we're gonna make it happen. You know why? Because we can. You know why? Because why not?
Because we don't quit at the first no, or the second,
right,
third, or the fourth.
Yeah,
we keep going. You know, and we're not encouraging anybody to be an addict. Absolutely not.
No.
But one thing that I have noticed that is common for every single story I have heard. If I wasn't an addict, none of this. If I wasn't an addict, I wouldn't have learned to be this strong. If I wasn't an addict, like this, addiction is hard. This is not hard.
Yeah.
Seriously, I can do this.
Yeah.
This was hard. And we all come out, and I really think what people don't understand, and let me tell you something, I'm going to have you both back where we have like 3 hours of time.
Yes.
But, well, I lost my train of thought, but you understand what I'm saying, is
100%.
addicts come out stronger. And a lot of people aren't going to like this. I'm going to make people mad here. They come out stronger than the majority of the rest of the world.
We're fighters.
That
100%.
hasn't been
We're
through.
fighters.
100%.
Right. And I'm not talking about people who have been through trauma. I'm talking about the people that have never experienced, any.
Yeah.
So don't come at me.
Yeah, don't come for.
I'm not downplaying your trauma. I'm not talking about you. But just to the majority of the world, I'll see things on like Facebook, and this happened and it was so hard, and I'm like, you can hear the crickets playing in the background.
Yeah.
And you can hear me blinking, like, that's not hard.
Yeah,
to them it's hard. To them it's
like
hard. For us, it's not.
if you can overcome addiction and very just basically if you can
And
overcome
trauma that
something
comes with it.
horrific,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, if you can overcome these horrific things like in your life, whether it was done to you or did it to yourself in our situation, like you're not just gonna like lay down, you're gonna like fight a million times harder to not go back to what you had, but to have way more. Because like honestly, I'll say it, like, what's the point? I might as well be drunk.
Right.
Like I might as well be. If I'm just gonna like do nothing, like I'm gonna be fucked up because it's like pointless. And so like, no, I don't want to do that. So I'm gonna be like the fucking coolest, most successful. Like that's what we strive to do. We do. And yeah, people might not like it. They're like, oh, okay, so you have to like fuck up and like lose your kids and do all that. So now you can be amazing. Like you don't get it.
You don't get
it. Get off the page. Keep scrolling.
Right.
Okay.
But yes. Like you don't get it,
but like yes.
Totally.
But like yeah.
But yes.
Okay. Because
I
I have
make that
friends,
video and I'll stitch it and be like,
yeah. I have friends and I have friends and family who have all the things, and they are bored. They have all the things and they wait all week for that Saturday night to like go to the ale house with their like buddy, and that's what they wait all. They suffer all week through their job and their mundane life to like get to Saturday night beers. And like I ain't trying to suffer Monday through Friday just to get to Saturday and then be bored Sunday and start it all over again.
We're supposed to live,
We're supposed to enjoy
no offense,
Monday through Sunday.
and if everyone, and it's also, so like what comes with being an addict is that constant ownership and accountability that you put on yourself, that everybody in the fucking planet can literally use a little bit of that.
Yeah.
Everybody
out there, like imagine if you lost it all and then somehow you got a second chance to do it again, and like how hard you'd fight that second time around. Okay, because that's what happened to us.
Yeah,
we lost everything.
The third time around, the fourth time around.
Yeah, I was just thinking that's a lie, Ashley, because you've done this twice before.
But yeah, no, I know.
But just to put it generally, for normal people, imagine if you lost it all and if you got another chance.
Yeah.
So I know you guys have to go, but this was so awesome. I almost like.
Yay!
I almost gave away my age. I didn't grow up in the 80s. This is totally awesome.
Yeah.
It was. And we are definitely going to have you guys on again where we'd
love to
more time, because I knew this was going to be great. Like I messaged and I was like, I just know. And
we love it.
Thunder Sister.
Yeah.
I was gonna say it, but in my mind it was Thunder Girls, and I knew it was wrong. I was really gonna say it.
Awesome.
Well, thank you so much.
And thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
This has been fantastic. And we will make sure to have a link for Recovery Life Apparel.
Yes.
When we post the video. Absolutely. We'll have one below. And let them know, give us like your TikTok, Facebook, IG. Let people know where they can find you guys.
Recovery Life Apparel.
Across the board.
Perfect.
Easy.
Yes.
Excellent. All right, ladies, thank you so much.
Thank you. Can't wait to see it. All right, bye.
Bye.
Oh, she's so sweet.